This is drinkdank.blogspot.com here with Tracey Lee. It's all said and done. Who's gonna have more impact on hip hop? Tracey Lee, the rapper, or Tracey Lee, the attorney?
Wow, that's a real tough question. I'm gonna say neither, because what it does is, if you put them together, is Tracey Lee, the entrepreneur, Tracey Lee, the businessman. That encompasses the attorney aspect of Tracey Lee. That encompasses the musical aspect and the rapper, Tracey Lee. So neither one of them, if I had my way of doing it, or if in the plan and the vision that I have, I want to encompass them both to have, or to make sure that the brand Tracey Lee Inc. is really out in the forefront. So, like I said, that encompasses both of those things. So I would say neither to answer the question. You dig?
All right, that's what I'm talking about. What is the most common mistake rappers make in the game?
Nowadays, I think everybody tries to emulate everybody else. If they don't do that, then everybody tries to incorporate the shock factor, and that is their form of entertainment, as opposed to, relying on natural abilities, if they had those natural abilities. And then if they do have the natural abilities, owning and kind of cultivating their craft, so to speak. So I think, it's too many kids out here just trying to be like somebody else, trying to rhyme like somebody else, using the same beats, using the same sounds, trying to come up with that single that everybody else has, and incorporating the same words, and just sending the same message. That's the grave mistake that I think people make, but I think it also comes from, the gatekeepers, so to speak. They kind of put that situation, the message out there that, okay, if you don't have a single like such and such, or if you ain't rhyming like such and such, or if you ain't getting a production or beats produced by such and such, then you don't have the single that we can bring out. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't blame it all on the artist, because because just like me, at one point, I wanted to just get my music out there. So, it's kind of like, by any means necessary. But at the same time, you got to understand that, if you are an artist and you're true to your craft, and this is what you want to do, man, longevity is the key. And you're not going to sustain longevity by being like somebody else.
What's the toughest part of law school?
Toughest part of law school is the persistence, the everyday grind about it, the getting up in the morning and going to sleep at night, studying cases, memorization, different situations and different laws, understanding that, there are both sides to the story, and it's really on how you argue your point the best. You dig? There is no right or wrong answer. That's one of the one of the lessons that I learned in law school. You know what I mean? It's about how you argue your point. Like a professor once told me, if you want to refute somebody, or if you're going against somebody in a case, it's best to know their side, because you can't argue your side without knowing their side, or should I say, you can't argue your side to the best degree unless you know the opposing view. You know what I mean? It's almost like playing sports. If you don't know what defense they're lined up in, you know what I'm saying, you don't know how to attack them. So I would say, like I said, that just the everyday patience and persistence of grinding hard and memorization of laws and cases, that was the most grueling part about it. It wasn't hard per se. What's good, baby? It wasn't hard per se, you know what I'm saying? But it was tedious. It was a lot of material. It was a lot to it. So it's just being patient and persistence with it.
How'd you get a deal on a major while attending college?
Well, just to correct you on that, I had graduated from college. I had graduated in 1992. I got my deal in 1996, but I was still in the college atmosphere. Let's not make any mistakes about it. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't committed to going to get a job. I had a job, but it wasn't your traditional 9 to 5. Man, I worked in grocery stores. I parked cars. I did some things I wasn't supposed to be doing, which I would keep off camera. But I was still in the college atmosphere. And actually, if it wasn't for the college life and if it wasn't for my college experience, I probably wouldn't have got a deal, because the cat that signed me, Mark Pitts, we both went to school together. We went to Howard together. I went to school with Puff, you know what I'm saying? He came in the year before me, so he was here when I came in 88. He was at Howard University when I came in 88. So, that kind of led to my situation because of the familiarity with me while we were in school. So I guess if we want to put it in a certain, if we want to phrase that question differently, was it because that I went to college that I got my deal? I would say absolutely yes, because of the relationships that I built while I was there. You know what I mean?
What was it like working with Harlem's Herb McGruff?
Yo, that's my man. Shout out to McGruff, man. It was good, man. It was, a good experience. We were both signed to, Universal. He was, coming from the Motown aspect. I was coming from the Boston aspect. But we were all under the same umbrella. And that's a good brother, man. Harlem's finest, you dig? McGruff got skills, man. Can't front on McGruff's. Like, basically, we kind of did that song on the fly, you know what I mean? We both sat in the same room, came up with the concept right then and there, da-da-da. And then, the next day we was in the studio, maybe like a week later or whatever. But, to come up with the concept and to come up with the direction that we wanted to take the record and all that was nothing. It was like, it was chemistry. Nothing to it, you know what I mean? He's a good brother, you know what I'm saying? What up, McGruff? Where you at, Duke? You know what I'm saying? It's time for a part 2 to that, you dig?
Everybody bugging you about Biggie. And what we want to know is what y'all said after each other's verses.
I got a funny story. I tell you what happened before and after. Before the verse, and this is what Mark told me. Like, Mark used to manage Big, and Mark said he used to ride around with my joints in the car, and he used to play the joints like before. I guess before I got on, or while he was in deliberation as far as me getting signed and all that. And he said he played. What record was that? This joint called Repent. And I said, what was the line? I said, fed up with all of you wannabe mobsters selling your souls for Grammys when you should have got Oscars for acting. Now, I said this in 94, 95. So the deal was, he heard that. He heard the mother records, yo, Trey nice. But Big, he also said that, he told Mark, but he'll be gunning for second place because I'm about to drop my joint. And so you know what I mean? That was B.I.G. I ain't gonna dispute. I mean, the MC in me wanted to say, nah, you crazy, but that's B.I.G., dog. I couldn't, it is what it is. But anyway, behind that line, next thing I know, he does a joint with Jay and says something like, something to the effect of, acting and Oscars, something like that. And then so I asked Mark and I asked D-Dot. I said, yo, and I'm not calling Big a biter, I think it was paying homage. I said, he's like, yo, I didn't hear Big come up with that line until after he heard your joint in the joint. But I mean, it wasn't a direct, but I think I'm planting the seed, you dig? Now, while we were doing the verses and after the whole joint, Big completely murdered Keep Your Hands High, completely murdered. And if you go on YouTube, I gave you a simulation of what I tried to reenact what Big did in the studio. I mean, the dude didn't write, you know what I'm saying? But while we were, you know what I'm saying, coming up with the concept and coming up with the rhymes, he was just rocking his body back and forth, in and out, like blacking out, you know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, yo, what the hell is he doing? 7-8 hours later, he's like, I'm ready to get in the booth. I said, to do what? He said, I'm ready to spit my bars. I said, where's your pen and pad? Because at the time, I was writing my joint down on pen and pad. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, nah, that confuses me. I can't do that. I said, oh, So anyway, he jumps in the booth, and especially that second verse when he's like, me and my nigga Lance took Kim and C's advance, bought 10 bricks, 4 pounds of weed plants from Branson. I was like, you have got to be joking, son. He didn't write this down, and this is what he comes up with. So, honestly, I had already put the first verse down. Before I put my second verse down, man, I had to go back home. I couldn't come after that shit after he spit that. Nah. So, that's just how incredible Big was, man. So, that's the before and the after shit as far as the effect that I think I had on Big. We'll never know, you know what I'm saying? And as far as the effect he had on me because of how nice he was, man, Big was incredible, and his influence still exists to this day.
How can an artist properly scout out the ethics of a prospective entertainment lawyer? How can an artist properly scout out the ethics of a prospective entertainment lawyer?
Gotta ask questions, do your research before you even meet up with Duke. You know what I'm saying? Because a dude can tell you anything, especially when you hungry. You know what I'm saying? When you hungry, that means you're willing to digest whatever. So you have to do your research on the business itself, so you know what the proper questions to ask, or if you know, or to be able to recognize bullshit when you hear it. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, if you don't do the research beforehand, a cat can tell you anything, and you like whatever. It sound good, you know what I mean? And I'm going for it. So you got to do your research, man. That's something that I didn't really properly do, you know, as an artist at that particular time. I just wanted to get my music out, and that's a great mistake that I think they're doing a lot better job now because there are more people aware, artists, should I say, aware of, you know, the importance of having your business together than, you know, per se than when I was out. But, for those that don't, you have to do your research, man. You have to look at other examples. You have to take heed to other examples. I'm sure you probably heard other examples, but you have to really take heed to it, man, and do your research on the aspects of on the legal aspects of the music business, so that when the lawyer comes to you, or when you go to the lawyer and you're trying to, you know, see who can be your proper representation, that they're speaking the proper jargon, and if they are speaking that jargon, that you understand what they're talking about. You know what I mean? What up, baby? Man, I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
How has the free consultation been received, and what's your next move?
Free consultation, it was like a pleasant surprise for people because I hadn't been out in a minute. They hadn't heard, you know, anything musically from me for years. So it's been received greatly. You know, of course, with the independent, going about it in an independent way, it's not getting out to the masses like I wanted to. But hey, I'm in it for the long haul and the slow grind, man. I'm not in a rush as long as God keeps me here, man, and I'm gonna continue to do what I do. So with that being said, go out and get free consultation. You dig? www.TraceyLeeINC.com. But beside that, my next project I'm going to put out is free consultation part 2 coming out probably volume 2, should I say, coming out in June. I also have a mixtape or a collaboration mixtape coming out with my brothers, the Reeps, called Evolution, which should be dropping like the next next 2 to 4 weeks, you know what I'm saying, next 2 weeks to a month. And then we have a lot of videos out there right now, collaborations with my brothers, the Reeps, collaborations with my Philly brothers, Izzy For Real and Philly Swain, a joint called SWP Legends, which stands for Southwest Philly Legends. So even though a mixtape may not drop, you're still going to hear joints. You're still going to see visuals coming out on a daily basis.
And finally, where can we keep in contact with Tracey Lee? Where can we meet you at?
All right. That's what's up. You can always go to www.TraceyLeeInc.com. That's TraceyLeeinc.com. You can also hit me up on Twitter. That's at Trey Lee. That's at TrayLee. And then you can hit me up on Facebook, Tracey Lee, simple and plain. I got a regular Facebook page and also got an artist page as well. So once again, that's TraceyLeeinc.com, at Trey Lee, Traylee, and just Tracey Lee straight up and down on Facebook. You dig?